Hello. So I'll be talking about the Twelfth Night. First of all, something that I found interesting about the play was the presence of the love triangle between the Duke, Olivia, and Viola/Cesario. I found this interesting because this is something that is so commonly found in modern day TV shows and movies and even drama. So I thought that that was really interesting how this plot kind of paralleled something that we see so often today. Kind of going off of this, a value that I thought was expressed over and over again throughout the play was that of love and of marriage. Everyone just seemed so focused on finding their true love, doing it very quickly, and putting so much energy into finding this love interest. And something that kind of stood out to me about this was how, towards the end of the play, Olivia and who she thought was Cesario were married. And it turned out to be Viola's twin brother, Sebastian. And Olivia found out about this, and although she didn't know Sebastian, she was still okay with it, and they were still married. So a word that I looked up was on page 28, in a conversation between Viola, or Cesario at the time, and Olivia, and this word is adieu, which means a goodbye. And when reading this conversation, I was kind of confused, and then after I looked it up, it put the conversation between the two into a much better context so that I could understand it. So next is gender roles and inequality. So I think that Viola dressing as a man really demonstrated this idea of gender roles in the play. So Viola dressed as Cesario in order to find work because she knew that she wouldn't be able to find a job and support herself as a woman because during this time, women were expected to marry and have children and be the housewives of the family. And Viola knew that she couldn't support herself that way, so she dressed as a man and she was able to find a job. And this really says about the play that it reflects the time period in which it was written. And Shakespeare really brought these gender roles to light. So kind of going off of that, casting. So during this time period, both male and female parts were played by men, which means that Viola's character would have been played as a man, or played by a man, and then that man would have then disguised himself back to a man, so he went from a male to a female back to a male. And I just personally think that this may have been slightly confusing to the audience. Which brings me to my first question, is I'm curious as to how well the men played the female parts and if it was actually believable or if it was just a known fact that the female part was going to be played by a male and it wasn't going to be done very well, but everybody just kind of accepted it. And my second question is how, if at all, would rewriting the play in a more modern day language change the ideas portrayed in the play about love and about marriage and about gender and all of the values that were expressed. So thank you guys.